Low energy, unfocused, foggy? You might be dehydrated. Whether it's hot yoga, over 100-degree weather, or too much sun. Gatorlight, with a specialized blend of 5 electrolytes, was scientifically designed to help move fluids into the body faster for rapid rehydration. Shop now at retailers nationwide. Gatorlight hydrates faster than water. Is it in you? Symptoms noted are signs of mild to moderate dehydration. Consult a healthcare professional if symptoms persist.
Hey, it's your ceiling vent, so I'm dripping. Could be the rain, could be the upstairs bathroom. Yikes. You could hire the guy your neighbor recommended, but I'm pretty sure that's just his cousin. Do we know if he's licensed, or does he just own a ladder?
Listen to your home. Go with Thumbtack. Upload a photo or voice note and we'll diagnose your project and match you with the right pro for the job. Thumbtack. We know homes. Hire the right pro today.
Coach Unplugged is brought to you by great people over at teachhoops.com for coaches who want to get better. From the Fifth Quarter Studios in Madison, Wisconsin, you're listening to Coach Unplugged. Here is your host, Steve Collins.
Hey everybody, happy Thursday. This would be episode 550 of Coach Unplugged. Before we head off, big shout out to our sponsor, Dr. Dish. The Dr. Dish home shooting machine, I believe, is on. There's a waiting list for it right now, but make sure you go over and check that out. There's all sorts of great drills and technology and stuff over at their website. Go over and check that out. Great people up there in Minneapolis. Mention Coach Unplugged or High School Hoops. They'll give you $350 off your next purchase. Also, go over and check out teachhoops.com. They allow us to keep the lights on. Like I've said for the last couple of weeks, I've just started a daily podcast, kind of walk you through my season here. Started in 2020, figured it was a good time to start that. So you can find that on teachhoops.com, or you can go over on Patreon and find it there. There's different levels, but if you join teachhoops.com, you can find it there. But if you're just looking for podcasts or maybe one-on-one calls or different things, those things are available also over on Patreon. Subscribe and like, and let's head off to the podcast.
Like timeout that we need to, like, we're having a timeout and they know exactly where they need to be going. Right. My other question to you is naming drills. What do you think about that?
I do. I like that. I like it. I like it to the point that once I show it, once we do it, once I show it again, I'll never, boom. I'm going to run Xavier, and then boom, we're in it. And then the thing is, I'm not getting the balls. I'm not telling them where to go. I'm not doing that. That's where they have quickly. The leaders will bubble to the top too, because they're the ones that will be moving everyone to where they need to be. But no, I like short, quick little names. I don't really care
right.
Yeah, I mean, you can call them blue. It doesn't. I mean, whatever's big in the UK right now, you can name it. That doesn't matter as long as they know it. And you're not going to have 8,000 drills.
No.
But I like short, quick things that they can remember.
Right. What about so I have a role for my injured players. So kids are going to get hurt.
Yep.
And my rule is, if you are hurt, right, if it's anything other than you requiring a wheelchair, you will need to be at practice.
Yep, or you're in the hospital.
Yeah. So I said, if you have a bug and you're throwing up and everything like that, I was like, I don't want you to practice.
Right.
So if it's anything that's contagious or anything that's in a wheelchair, I do not want you to practice. Other than that, you're at practice. If you rolled your ankle, you can still sit there and come to practice. Right?
Yes, and then I give them something to do. And the thing is, I coach volleyball too. I don't know if you knew that. I coach volleyball.
Yeah, you have.
So we just started, and I don't know how much you know about volleyball, but you basically have your middles tend to be your tall kids. They block because they block on both sides. They start in the middle and block out. Well, one of the best middles in our league and on my team twisted his ankle. Well, he's been here the last 2 days, and I sat him down and I said, Colin, we need to talk. You're hurt. You're probably going to be out for a couple of weeks. As I looked at his ankle. I go, ooh, I know what that looks like. But I said, now I got two younger. I got a sophomore and junior. He's a senior. So I got a 12th grader, and I got an 11th and 10th that are going to have to take a spot now. I said, now your job is to help them. And I like Star Wars. So I basically say, you're Yoda and they're Luke Skywalker. Right. To teach them what you know. And it's been great. The last 2 days have been great. He's hopping around the gym, and you got to get up like this, and he's kind of explaining some of the blocking, the footwork stuff, because and that's that helped me in basketball a lot, because if you know anything about, there's a lot of little nuances in volleyball with footwork and stuff that I like. The correlation to basketball is unbelievable. But
that's so what I do is, and I want to like see what your opinion of it is I actually print out 2 more practice sheets, or a practice sheet for the kid who was injured, and I basically he looks through all my notes that I've seen on the side.
Right.
So I would write possible foul trouble from Mr. X.
Right.
Look at the defensive stance. Expect bigs to slack off on the rim running because they don't want to run the entire length of the floor. Look to make sure that we're not giving a middle on dribble drive. And so suddenly the injured kid now becomes like, okay, I know what I'm looking at.
Right.
And he's the one that turns around and says, hey, coach, can I get a timeout with them? I was like, yeah, of course you can, Patrick. You can get a timeout if you want. That's what you want. And we have something called Earn Your Colors with the younger groups. And what that is if you show that you have moved from acceptable to exceptional, you earn your club colors. And the first set of club colors that we earned this season were from kids that were injured, because they were still there, they were engaged.
Right.
They want to be engaged.
And they're going to be, the problem is they come back. First of all, your team's getting better because the ones that are not injured are having to step up, but the injured ones always come back better. I'm telling you, because they're seeing it in a different lens.
Right.
So
you're not averse to that whole, like, we'll give them a practice session. Do they really need to know in that much detail? They're like 12,
they got to be there. Are you kidding me? It's like you can't miss class. This is class, man. You can't miss class, because we might tweak our out of bounds play, and if you're in the training room, you're not seeing what we're doing. And the thing is, sometimes they learn. I told Colin, this is just like his first injury. Sometimes until you're injured, you're just playing. You're just a kid and you're just playing. You're just doing what the coach tells you. Know what I mean? Yeah. And you're adjusting. All of a sudden, you've had to shift gears, and it's like, whoa! So many good things have happened over the years from them seeing. Yeah, they have to be a practice, and they have to be engaged to practice.
Yeah. What are your rules on kids that sit on the bench and they're not in the game? What are your rules with them?
So hold on, I gotta plug in my charging cord. Hold on. My little thing just turned red on my computer, and if I don't plug it in, I don't want us to die.
Yeah, I'm looking at mine as well. Hold on a second. We'll take this opportunity to do it. Why repeat the process?
Okay. So let me. So what was the question? Bench guys.
Yeah. So what are your rules for the bench guys?
So they have to be engaged.
But what does that mean to a 12-year-old though?
Yeah, that's great. So I talk about I don't know if you've read the book Energy Bus, but they have to bring energy. That right. when someone comes out the game, when someone comes out of our game, they go down and shake everybody's hands on the bench, like boom, 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 high fives or shakes. Okay. Then they can come back and find a seat at that point. So I tell them I assign a captain on the bench that's in charge of everybody on the bench. That's good. Okay. Just like I have a captain on the court, I have a captain of the bench. The captain of the bench is responsible for them. We just made a 3. Yeah, part of theirs is to bring energy, and then that's
if they're going to be those rah-rah guys, then it is what it is. And
but the thing is, you're going to play them. They're going to play some, but they have to. That's where that discussion about energy is contagious, and especially when things are going bad. And so then that's where that speech comes in, and we have to find a video on it. But I have something that I show that basically, it's easy when you're a mile ahead in the marathon, but what happens when the guy passes you in the last 2 miles? That's when we need the energy. So that's when I keep talking to the captain about, okay, we're down 6. Now's when I need you. When we're up 27, I still want you doing it, but
we need your energy more when the hard times rather than the easy times.
Right.
And we talk about, hey, this is when you find out when your friends are, and when your friends, it's easy to be friends when things are going well, but my true friends are when things are bad. They're always the ones there when something happens in your life. So we have that whole life lesson thing. It's like, so that's where I need you guys. When things aren't going well, how are you picking up? What's your reaction when a timeout's called? Are you just standing on the bench, or are you sprinting out and giving eyes high fives and giving, that, all those things?
So we have similar rules. We're talking about positive touches again.
And we practice it. I literally practice all that. We'll put the clock up. We'll do our, 5-on-5 or 5-on-0. We'll just have them run up and down the court, and then we'll practice. All right, timeout. How do we react? So if you, it goes back to the communication kicker too. If you want to teach them how to talk during practice, you have to teach them how to talk. What to say, how to say it, when to say it.
I was having this conversation with another coach, and my argument was very similar to yours. And I said, we're always harping on about kids communicating on the court, yet we don't let them communicate on the court.
Right. Yeah. And you have to tell them how to communicate. Like, okay, time out. What should you have said there? How could you have said that? Did you say that the right way? Did you say that in a way not like, get back on defense? Hey, John, next time let's convert. You got to teach them the proper techniques.
Yeah, so that's what it goes. Like, our rules for positive touches are the same. If you're going to talk to a teammate, every conversation must end with a positive touch.
Right.
So I like that.
Yeah.
If it's a 12-year-old talking to another 12-year-old, and they're going to say, hey, listen, you got to run back in transition. I'm struggling on defense. Yeah. And the kid's like, I'm trying.
Right.
He turns around. He's like, listen, just we'll work through it. Just keep trying again, and give a positive touch.
So it's almost like, and I tell my guys, it's almost like you got to take the bullet. Like, so let's say John isn't getting back. It's like, hey, John, we're having a hard time getting back. Let's do this. Blah blah blah. And then a positive touch. Yeah. So that's where you got to teach your leaders how to lead. And it's like, it just drives me bonkers that coach yells, communicate. They're screaming. Well, okay,
talk on defense.
Yes, you're yelling that stuff, but they don't know, especially at 12. And at 12, they don't want to stand out. They literally would be camouflage and just, they don't. There's exceptions to this rule, but most of them don't want. They want to just be another kid. They don't want anything that makes them stand out. They don't like, and talking does that.
How animated do you get as a coach during a game? And I'll tell you the reason why I am making a conscious decision this year to try and stay as emotionally detached from the game as I can, so that I do not become the over emphatic coach, which I will put my hand up and say last year, because we were fighting back from a lot of stuff and we turned our season around, I ended up being that coach towards the end.
Right.
Where I was very much.
I would say as my career has gone, I have become less and less and less. I'm very competitive. I'm like crazy.
That's the root cause of my issues. So
it is. And as I've learned with age, it's like I can't want it more than they do. So at times I have to be the energy, and that's where my whole bench captain, making them do it so I don't have to do it, so I can literally only worry about X's and O's. So what I've really done is try to make a conscious effort of not worrying about the officials. And I will be the cheerleader, and I will be the rah-rah more than, because I will lose focus if I'm worried about the call. I'm worried about the official. I'm worried about that. So I would say I'm in the middle to maybe more animated than less animated. Right. But part of that has been volleyball. Volleyball officials, you can't even talk to them. Like they're like, it's a whole different world.
Well, so you've kind of led on to my last and final question for you is, would you ever burn a timeout to go talk to a ref?
Ooh, that's a great question. I have. I don't. I think those 5 timeouts are crazy valuable. in my opinion, because it's the only, and we play in halves rather than quarters.
Right.
So it is the only time that I can teach and I can adjust other than on the fly. So like, I don't know if I've told you, like a loose ball on the floor, we don't take a timeout. Like it's a big thing in the States to go get a loose ball and get it and then take a timeout. That seems like a waste to me. We call it, we basically tell the boys, if there's a loose ball, you go get it and then you get it to a teammate. We ain't wasting one.
We're not allowed to call timeout on a loose ball or anything like that. Players can't call timeouts. It must be done at stop of play.
Yours must be.
Yeah, we must. It must be at stop of play. So out of bounds. So it's not one of my finer points. But if I do need to buy some time, what I'd do is I'd make and I didn't want a timeout, and I thought that my boys needed to talk to each other or something like that. I could.
Right.
You could on if the other team is scoring free throws on the second shot, you call a sub at the second shot. So for the sub to come in, by our rules, we have 30 seconds to bring the sub in.
Oh, you
so
do.
I kind of swing it in that if I really need it in we're in a close game and I burned all my timeouts.
Yeah.
The other teams come back to tie the game or something. I'll turn around. I'll make a sub.
Right.
And I turn around.
So I consider timeouts I tell the boys, as long as we have timeouts, we're not out of the game because we can stop the clock. We can set something up. We can do that. So I'd rather go home with some than not than burn through them. To be honest,
then burn through them because of ref calls.
Yep.
And another one that you kind of, if you have a couple of kids that seem to get into a lot of foul trouble.
Yep.
Due to mistakes that you constantly point out week in, week out. Is there a trick that you have or a condition that you can play out during practice?
You play quarters, right?
Yeah, play quarters.
Okay. Hey, everybody. Hope you're enjoying the podcast. Couple things you can do real quick. Subscribe and like here and on YouTube under Teach Hoops under YouTube. Leave any sort of reviews, any comments. We love those. If you do any shopping on Amazon, down below is our Amazon link. It doesn't cost you anything, especially if you're a Prime member. Even if you're not a Prime member, we get a small little commission every time that you purchase through our link. And the last thing is make sure you go over and check out teachhoops.com for coaches who want to get better. I can't imagine a better resource, a better way to expand your horizons. There's nothing like it on the web that I have found. I have experienced everything that you're experiencing. I've coached guys at the highest level. I've coached NBA guys. I've coached, fifth grade boys how to dribble. So I've experienced everything that you're experiencing, and I am here to help. So go over and check out teachhoops.com for coaches who want to get better. All right, back to the podcast.
So my rule of thumb, how many kids do you have on your team?
12.
Okay. My rule of thumb is if you pick up your second in the first half, I pull you. You're done. You're done.
Okay.
So what it does is it does a couple things. It forces me to play more kids.
Right.
It teaches them to not do the stupid fouls. And trust me, there's times when they get 2 and it's like, oh crap. But there's a lot of time in that second. You got 20 minutes in the second half. Now, if you're down 15 and you're feeling like you got to put them in, but they know when they get that second one that they might as well just start walking over to the bench. Because it does a couple things. It forces, hey, I believe in it's next man up. Like if you can't take care of the fouls and you just got to charge in a stupid foul, you're coming out.
The thing is, but with us is that the technicals here as well count towards personal fouls.
They do.
So I have a kid that's out there, shot the ball openly into the basket, like straight. It was a layup, went through the rim. He caught it to give it to the other team. And straight away, ref's like, listen, that's your second warning. Don't touch the ball if it goes through the net. And give him a tech. That's his second. Right.
There's exceptions to every rule. That one's like, that's not even yes. Yeah. I'm just saying, if you want a condition, they have to understand how important those are. And then basically, if they have 3 in the second half, they should be able to play the whole second half for the most part. Yeah. So that's a way to that's what I have found to be successful as far as conditioning them to to do that.
Especially the bigger kids. They're with their arms and them just being the way they are.
They're stupid fouls, in my opinion.
Yeah. There is no like attempt at the ball. He's trying to block a kid that's already got past him, going to the basket. Instead of going up at the backboard, he'll drop his hands and try and block it coming out of the kid's hands.
So then your punishment, quote unquote, is you're coming out and someone else is going in because that you didn't, and the thing is they're going to play hard. They're not going to do that because it's almost worse when you get to the second half and you're in the fourth quarter and they have 4 fouls. Then they're really more worried about fouling out. If they only have 2 going into the second half, I think it gives them more freedom to go play a little bit too. I think.
What about feedback to kids that are coming off the floor? How do you do that? What I ask them to do, for example, is I ask them as soon as they come off the floor, make sure when they're coming off the floor, all their teammates stand up. It's positive touches all the way again. Yep. And you do not go and sit at the end of the bench. You come and sit next to me. Yep. The first thing.
Always sit next to me. Yep. Always sit next to me. And the thing is, I'll be up. So often they'll be taking my seat. So then whatever assistant I have there, I'll know who's gonna, because they're gonna. I say, get a drink, get your towel, do whatever. But then you got to become a student of the game at that point, because you might be coming out just because you needed to come out and you're tired. You might be coming out because of stuff that you did. So we need to give you feedback quickly so you know when you go back in what's going to happen.
Right. Yeah. And then what do you have your assistants track for you?
I have my assistants track just about everything. I got to find. I have one assistant that keeps track of every possession, so I can figure out what we're running, whether it's a make or a miss.
So this year's going to be my first year's experience with kind of crossover.
Okay.
So hopefully that does everything.
We went to huddle. We changed.
Right.
But they're both good. They're both basically the exact same thing.
So we're gonna see. I'm gonna see what crossover can do for me.
Yep.
But I still ask the assistants to kind of track some stuff during practice, even. So, for example, I wanted to track how many passes we make in an entire practice.
Turnovers is a big one for me.
How many turnovers we turn over the ball. In the game, I actually, because I can do the rest via video because we video everything back.
Yep.
I ask them. I ask how many possessions we have, right, and how many possessions we have, how many possessions the other team has, and my concept is, if I'm going to measure turnovers, then I must know how many possessions there has been in the
and then you have to know, and I want to know points per possession, because you'll win most if you're over a point of possession, you'll win most games.
So that's the idea. The idea is if we're gonna play a fast pace of basketball, which is what we play, it's very, very rarely. And I told them, I said, we will go through some plays this year, guys, but if you get through the first rotation off it, fantastic. You're only gonna have one play, one sideline, one baseline. That's all you're gonna get. The rest is gonna be all read and react.
Right, and the thing is, with only having, like, let's say you have only one baseline out of bounds play. That's where you can get to the nuances of, here's your read. Oh, they took this away. What would your read be? I mean, that's where they gotta,
And that's why there's only one of them. So we've literally I've broken down everything from what is your tell on the defense if they jump to the ball too early, get a foot above the 3-point line. This is what it means. If they don't jump to the ball and they're stood there flat-footed, this is what it means. You've got a face cut, you've got a backdoor cut, etc. If we are now looking to inbound the ball, please note that you have 5 seconds. What we want is a quick inbound.
Right. Oops, you froze.
Off
Coach.
the plate to kind of get a better look at the basket. So we run like elevator doors for our baseline. Okay. And when I first taught it to the kids, it was let's run the entire length of the play while the ball's still out of bounds. And I'm like, no, we inbound it and then let it continue out. It's to get a better, higher percentage shot.
Right.
And that's all that it is.
Right.
My last question, that I've asked all my basketball questions, Steve. I've got just one more question for you.
No worries.
And I want you to be completely ruthless and honest with me.
Okay.
I am actually thinking of starting my own podcast for the UK.
Okay.
I think there's a huge disconnect in what we're doing on the floor. I as development youth coaches, and I want to kind of bring that to light.
All right. You got to have me on. You have me on.
Definitely, I'm definitely having you on. If like the first or second.
I'll tell you a couple things with the podcast. So first thing is you got to learn how to batch.
Right. What is batch?
Batching means you're going to try to do a lot of you're going to have to basically, like all my interviews and stuff, when I interview like college coaches and stuff, you basically got to pick a weekend and say, well, I'm doing podcasts this weekend. You're going to do
right. Okay. You
got to batch them. You got to come up, because otherwise you're just going to be like, and I would start out once a week. I mean, I'm up to 4 or 5 times a week now, but I've got it down to a system where like tonight I will do all of September. Basically, I have it in the queue. I just got to go through, edit, clean some stuff up, and then I'll just upload all of September. But that's what you got to come up with it's like anything, like coaching. You got to come up with a system that's going to help you, because otherwise it's going to be this juggling thing. It's like,
so here's what I was thinking as well. And my idea was not to talk to any of the pro coaches.
No. The problem is, the higher up, here's my theory. The higher up you get, the more it doesn't resonate. Like what John Calipari doesn't resonate with. I mean, Kentucky. I need to talk to people like you and I.
I don't know. Do you go to work in a Benz and have a private jet?
Yeah.
What is Memorial paying you that kind of money?
No, but that's the issue. Is like, I want to talk to people that are going like, oh crud, I got to teach all day and then I got to go coach, or I got to drop my kid off at daycare and then I got to figure out an hour and a half youth practice. Those are the people I want to talk to, because they're the ones that are in the same. They're experiencing the same thing that I'm experiencing.
Yeah, I mean, what about the kind of the divergence away from just basketball coaches? So one of the guys who I thought was really interesting to talk to, his son actually plays basketball, and I was talking to him, and he runs a company called Train Brain, where he is a sports psychologist. He has some heavy hitter athletes in his portfolio.
I think the niche. I think if you're looking for a niche, especially because I have a bunch of listeners in the UK, and
it's like I don't want to like carve myself out of niche outside of basketball. It is basketball,
right?
However, how about do you think is there room for like people to listen to other aspects of high performance athletes and what they want? So how does that translate to our youth? Yeah, how to actually like the basically the transition from, you may not think your son is a Cristiano Ronaldo, who's like a famous soccer guy, right? And however, I'll put you in front of Jamie, who's this guy at Train Brain, and he will kind of break down to say that the thought process that he uses can be used with a young kid.
Yes.
It just needs to be scaled back a bit.
And there's tons of those kind of people to talk to. There's nutrition, like you said, the nutrition guy you just talked about.
That's the whole thing. I want to talk to some nutrition guys about basketball, what we're telling our kids about basketball. I want to talk to some psychologists, psychologists, sports psychologists that talk to them about basketball. I want to talk to coaches that are on the floor and the struggles that they're going through about basketball.
Well, the thing is, there isn't one. I mean, basketball is basketball, that is true, but what's happened in the US and Canada is a little bit different than what's happening in Europe and the UK. So
there isn't one for
so
there is a need in that market.
I think so too.
And I like, don't get me wrong, I've recorded the first one. It's just an introduction, and I played it back, and I absolutely hate the sound of my own voice. It's absolutely freaking bad.
And the thing is, I don't even go back and listen to my like first 50 anymore. It's horrible.
I listen to myself going, I sound absolutely terrible.
And the key is like, and this is my theory with good podcast.
I'm being 100% honest, Steve. I stick my arms. That's why I'm smiling. I'm going.
It's got to be very conversationalist.
Yeah, I mean, you and I can talk for. You and I can talk for hours. And that's not. I'm quite conversational like that. I don't
Yeah, and the thing is that
back.
it's like you basically gotta go, okay, what would I want to know from this sports psychologist? What would I want to know from the whatever it is?
Do you give the people that you're interviewing some kind of pre-questionnaire or something like
No,
that?
I give them nothing.
Give them nothing. It's just a casual conversation.
And the thing is, I give them, I know their background, so I can do a formal introduction, but then I don't, I tell them once we get on, we go, because I don't want any small talk. I don't want anything, because I want that on tape.
Yeah.
So I'll literally get, whoever, I'll get a college coach on. I'll say, okay, as soon as we get on, I'm going to say, hi, how you doing? All right, we're going to go. And then I hit record and we go. And then I can always edit and post production stuff. But
that's what
and
it is.
I do it because it's just fun. Whatever.
I'll be honest. And if there is a reason, and I'm completely honest with the people, I turned around and I said, listen, I'm a guy that's in coaching. Plus I have my own little business on the side. However, I actually coach because that's what occupies majority of my day.
Right.
And in terms of CPD,
right,
I don't have any continuous professional development.
Right.
I don't have any continuous professional development, not because I don't want it. It's because I just sometimes don't have time for it. This summer, I have regional duties where I'm like the under 17s Northeast region head coach for the UK.
Right.
I basically, luckily for me this year, there was no under 17s age groups. I said, that was perfect. I'm now going to go ahead and do my level 3. It costs an arm and a leg to do. So it's expensive, of course.
Right.
However, I was like, right, this is the only chance I'm going to get.
Right.
To kind of better myself. And the reason behind me doing the podcast, Steve, and I was like, I'll be completely honest with anybody. It's for my CPD.
Right.
How else to? I love doing it. I love talking to people.
It's one of the reasons I started Teach Hoops too. It's like, all right, I have all this stuff and it's fun, and I get to meet people all over the world, and it made me a better coach because people it's like, ooh, maybe you should do that, Steve. It's the exact same thing. It really
like that. I was thinking to myself, going, right, what is and don't get me wrong, there are like my network, my reach, my people that I talk to, it'll do I know it has its own advantages for myself.
Right.
However, I really want to do it because from the CPD standpoint, it's kind of like understanding what other coaches are doing. Like I can sit and talk to you, Steve, for like another 2 hours, just picking stuff.
Right.
Just going, what would you do if a kid walked into the gym like how I had a couple of days ago, kid from Olimpiano Milano, 6'3", right? Can speak a bit of English, but he can speak the language of basketball, right? He's doing really well. How do I get a kid like him to bond with the other 11 that I have on my team? You and I can have an entire episode on just that.
On that, yes. Trust me, you won't have problems coming up with topics. Topics will not be an issue.
Hey, everybody. Hope you enjoyed that podcast. Make sure you subscribe and like. Make sure you go over and check us out on YouTube, Teach Hoops on YouTube. It's a great channel, always putting new videos up there. Also, make sure you go over and check out teachhoops.com for coaches who want to get better. Do you want to win that conference championship? Do you want to win that state championship? Do you want to win that tournament? Let me help you do that. Go over and check it out. Have a great day.